Beautiful people, we are reacting to the video from the channel Oara, and probably it's talking. Yeah, it's talking about chapter 162. What happens of One Piece 1062? What happens during chapter 162? During chapter 162, we have uh, the crew, half of the crew is Chopper, Luffy, uh, who else? Chopper, Luffy, Bonnie. They are inside the island. Oh, what's his called? I don't remember the name. My memory is my memory is not good. And basically, they're in this island, and they see the island where Vegapunk lives. And this island is said to be 500 years into the future. So we see like holograms, weird machine. We see sea monsters. They are half monsters, half robots. They're like cyborg, and we see holograms. We see some weird stuff. Luffy tries to punch holograms or to touch stuff because he sees like what is called uh parfait. I don't know if it's called parfait. It's like something sweet, and he tries to eat it, but he's an hologram. He gets pissed. And then he sees like a big robot that looks like a child. That is the same size of his head, Kaido. He tries to punch it because he thinks it's a hologram, and it's not a hologram. And this robot punches Luffy and makes him fly. He flies into a food vending machine, then creates food, and they start eating. They're having fun. And what do we see? We see we realize that Vegapunk's body is divided in six personality. Each personality is a personality, and we see Lucci and the CP0 are in have the mission to kill Vegapunk. I think to kill all the personality. I'm not sure if all the personality are just like divided, like I don't know if Vegapunk is divided in six personality or if he is still a person, but he divided some of his personality into these six alter ego. I don't know if there is still the person, the old man Vegapunk, or if with his technology divided his brain into different parts. I'm still curious about if Lucci is now is strong enough to be trouble for sure for Luffy no, because Luffy now is too strong. He's like a Yonko, so probably Lucci is too weak for Luffy. But I wonder how strong it is, and I wonder how strong are the Seraphim. We see that we have the Seraphim of Kuma. We found out that they cannot use the Devil Fruit of the Warlords, but I don't know because one of them was fighting with Blackbeard. I still think that Blackbeard is too strong, even for a bunch of Seraphim. But how strong are they? How because they are the new weapon, so they are for sure stronger than pacifistas. Maybe they have a lot of uh, resistance. They can heal themselves like King because they have the uh, Lunarian DNA or something. They have the black wings and the fire, so they have some Lunarian capabilities. And also in the chapter before, we see that the, they have what they have during the fight. They didn't get even scratched, so maybe they have like some enhanced Lunarian power. And I wonder what warlord was cloned and why they cloned them. Because if they cannot use the devil fruit power, what's the point of basing them in the warlord? Because the warlords are weird the warlords because they have like crazy power, but also nice devil fruit. So I don't know why they made them based on them. Anyway, let's see what they say. This guy. The title is Oda just revealed why Vegapunk is his most important character, or whatever the fuck you want to call him.
What Luffy's reunion with Lucci and Serafim Kuma actually means,
Zif Kuma,
and what
Kuma.
the name of each of the Vegapunk 6 clones tells us about their role in the
Yok
story.
Atlas Patagoriadas.
Stands out as possibly the strangest and quirkiest island in a
I think
story.
Vegapunk is gonna join the crew for a bit.
There's a candy island, a dinosaur island, an angel island in the sky, a mermaid island down in the ocean.
He's gonna say something
and a
like,
samurai island
I cannot stay here anymore because the Navy wants to kill me. I'm gonna join you.
out from this list is that it seems to be connected to almost each and every one of the places I just listed. And that's of course because this island, that's said to be 500 years in the future, is the home of probably the most mysterious and anticipated character in the entire story, with of course the sole exception of a certain red-haired pirate. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
Shank.
too surprised if
Shank is the character that everyone wants to know
but
the
back to
power.
story. Dr. Vegapunk,
How strong it is.
apparently has been too busy doing science stuff to get a proper professor's degree at this point, is a character that knows more about the world than any other character outside maybe the Gorosei and maybe the remaining Roger pirates.
And we're going to find out also
No matter if Vegapunk is someone
about the
from
devil
some
fruit.
country, time travel,
Because that's what Oda said. Oda said that when we're going to meet a really important doctor, we're gonna find out how the devil fruit work and etc. So we're gonna find out all the secret, all the stuff.
or even someone from another planet, what's important right now is that he's possibly the only person in the world who has unlocked the secrets of the devil fruits. Whoever they are, they
Yeah,
know a ton about
devil
the
fruit.
true history and nature of the One Piece world, given that they also researched dragons and ancient giants, two groups of creatures that were officially once part of this planet some distant point in the past. And that's a point that I think has now only been proven more by the appearance of ZP0, who have been tasked with assassinating the
ZP,
government's
CP.
most valuable asset. Why would the Gorosei or Imu issue such an order, fearing that Vegapunk knows too much of the truth? Well, if they didn't have at least some sort of concrete proof that they do. I mean, yes, admittedly, usually the government doesn't hesitate really to take someone out on the pure suspicion that they could, a 1% chance that they
I was
could
discussing
know
with my friend what that ball in the sky that destroyed the island where Sabo was, if it was like a devil fruit power or one of the ancient weapon, and he said is like, what's the name? It's not Poseidus, Uranus, something like that. I thought it was like a devil fruit of Imu. And my friend also told me that Imu's power is the power to control people. Like, whatever he says, people are like vowed to listen to him. And I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird power because that makes him unbeatable. Because if you want to fight him, you can just say no, don't fight, and you don't fight him. Listen to me, and you listen to him. So I don't know about that, but I understand that maybe the ball was like one of the ancient weapon, and also maybe Frank is going to be able to build one of those weapons, even if Luffy doesn't care, because Frankie he remembers all the, how do you call it, the blue paper. How do you call the paper that describe how to do stuff? The print work, the blueprint for the, what was, I don't remember, one of the weapon.
But this is their prized genius scientist that we're talking about that has enabled them to rule as securely as they have through their innovations. And so, to bring it back to my original point, Vegapunk's innovations are found throughout the entire world and have accompanied the Straw Hats' journey as far back as Alabasta, where they encounter
Alabasta, the dog gun.
devil fruit.
What the
To
fuck?
really hammer this point home for you, the very first hint at this character that is now revealed, and this island has been dropped almost 900 chapters ago, which undoubtedly makes Vegapunk one of the core elements of One Piece that Eiichiro Oda had planned right from the beginning. Just to quickly walk you through it, we have another object devil fruit on Enies Lobby, the sea stone covered ships of the Marines that allows them to pass through the calm belt unharmed, Nami's climate attack that with its weather egg strongly resembles the overall island of Egghead as a concept. The giant egg on the island basically serves as a giant terraforming
Egghead, the name of the island. Egghead.
Conveniently, also can be used as a giant research facility for all of Vegapunk's quite a space-intense enterprises, let's put it that way. Later on, we ran into a bunch of biological experiments like Vegapunk's failed dragons on Punk Hazard or his research into gigantification. They were able to successfully duplicate one of the most powerful devil fruits in existence with Kaido's mythical dragon fruit. And maybe the most successful of all his experiments was the research he did in collaboration with Judge Vinsmoke that resulted in the creation of our all favorite cook Sanji and his siblings, who do have unparalleled and really strange powers. A power, by the way, that might have also played a decisive role in the creation of the 6 clones of Vegapunk we see in this chapter, and who I will analyze for you based on their names and attributes in just a bit. Because most impactful for the One Piece world were
Pacifistas.
military projects that almost meant the end for the Straw Hat crew on Sabaody. Using his discovery of the lineage factor in devil fruits that also seemed to connect to the mythical Lunarian race somehow, Vegapunk not only turned the warlord Bartholomew Kuma into a cyborg, cloned him, but he also equipped him with the abilities of Admiral Kizaru's Pika Pika fruit light powers. And quite recently in the story, Vegapunk has finished the development of the so-called Seraphim, replicas of all the former warlords with...
So if he managed to give the laser power to the pacifistas, maybe he can replicate any devil fruit power, because what is a laser beam, but still is kind of a power. So maybe he is able to replicate any devil fruit. And also, if he knows the secret of devil fruit, probably he knows how to make them. I don't know. I don't know.
Even greater powers than their predecessor, the
I don't know.
Now, this new weapon was not only strong enough to replace the existing warlord system completely, as you know, but the government even sent one of the Seraphim with ZP0 to take out their maker. Now, do I think that that was a particularly smart move? No, I really don't.
Yes, if I was a Vegapunk, I would create all the Seraphim with like some special command to like kill them, or like to give them orders. Like if they order to kill me, I say, I don't know, Apple, and they get under my control. Something like a kill switch or a switch.
If you make it to the end of this video, it actually doesn't really matter if Vegapunk will be the ally or the villain of this arc. Heck, as we'll discuss in just a bit, they might well turn out to be both. My point here is that Dr. Vegapunk has been accompanying us throughout the entirety of the Grand Line. And I really think it's no coincidence that they have connections to almost all the Straw Hats. Let me organize them in order of most to least important for you. First off, there is Frankie. Now, Frankie is not only a cyborg himself and the second most technologically advanced character in One Piece after Vegapunk, but he also has spent a whole 2 years during the time skip in Vegapunk's old lab studying all of his work. These two will have a lot to talk about, and hopefully Frankie will leave the island with an upgrade or two and a ton of fresh technical knowledge as well. I mean, just look at all the gadgets that we've already seen here. Giant robots and monsters, holograms, food-making machines, a lot of stuff that looks suspiciously like space technology. At the very least, I want to see Frankie leave with a larger Shogun Frankie version than Vegapunk's. Then there is Sanji, who, as we've mentioned, kind of is the result of Vegapunk's research himself in a way. I really do hope that we get to see some more explanation of Sanji's true powers at worst.
Sanji is becoming cyborg.
Usopp and Nami are connected to them through the climate tech, which hopefully also will receive a major upgrade during this arc as well. Then we have Chopper, who is looking to become the best doctor in the world and that can cure any disease. And if a science lab 500 years in the future is not the best place for that, I really don't know what would be. Then we have our captain, Luffy, who still doesn't know the true identity of his own devil fruit. Now, in general, I'm convinced that this is going to be the arc in which we're going to learn almost everything, if not actually everything there is to know about devil fruits and their secrets. And I'm pretty sure that Vegapunk is the right person to teach Luffy the true name of his Nika fruit and what those powers are truly capable of. Now, this is not a straw hat, but we also have to talk, of course, about Vegapunk's connection to Jewelry Bonnie, who it turns out is Kuma's daughter after all, and who has been to this island before as a child. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if Kuma was a king, I guess that technically makes Bonnie the coolest
princess
in any arc so far. No offense to any Vivi fans, of course, out there, but still, you know. And then we have, of course, Zoro, who at first glance might not seem to have any relationship with Vegapunk.
Imagine in the chapter Zoro says that he wants something from Vegapunk. Imagine if he maybe he wants him to put some devil fruit in the swords, or maybe wants like as a laser to sword. I don't know what he wants. What do you think he wants from Vegapunk? Maybe he wants to know if Enma has got a devil fruit inside. A laser sword makes more sense.
Swords eat a devil fruit. There, I said it. It's out there now. If you also want to see that happen, well, make sure to hit the subscribe button because otherwise it definitely won't. But wait a minute. This is like still the beginning of why Egghead could be the best arc One Piece has ever seen. Like, you see how much longer is left in this video? Like, this is only half the story. What's crazy is what I want to talk about next. Because while we all thought that Vegapunk is just one old dude with a mustache, well, turns out that they
It's got 6 personality.
paths of pain and created 6 other sentient versions of himself that all function independently, like they're all their own people. Like, what? And this is where this all gets very, very juicy. You see, it's really interesting how much information we can already extract about Vegapunk and all of his 6 paths from just one panel where we got showing how they're all organized.
So logic, evil.
That there is the actual original body of Dr. Vegapunk that's still alive. He didn't just
The main Stella is called.
No, there is still the old version as well. Now, do I think that it's gonna be a cliche, bold old man with white lab coat and mustache after all? It's possible, but I prefer the
Vegapunk must be a cyborg, like some kind of robot that cannot die or can live hundreds of years. If he's just an old man, it doesn't make sense. Because what's the point of being so into the future, 500 years, if you age like any other person?
We do know a bit more, however, about Vegapunk's 6 alter egos. So, this is how it works. Each of the 6 has a number ranked
Desire, red, wisdom, flair, evil, logic.
Number 2 taking orders from number 1 about not underestimating the Straw Hats and bringing them to him. Then each of the 6 is also assigned a kanji that seems to describe their personality in some way or form. We have justice, evil, thoughtfulness,
Lilith, Edison, Atlas, Yo.
Each of the 6 also has a unique name based on a real or mythical character from our world. There's Shaka, Lilith, Edison, Pythagoras, Atlas, and
Pythagoras.
These names together with each of their attributes tells us actually quite a lot about them. So let's start with number 1, Justice, Shaka. As far as I can tell, this version of Vegapunk is based on Shaka Zulu, who was the king of the Zulu kingdom from 1816 to 1828. A legendary and quite controversial ruler, he instituted wide-reaching reforms and innovations that turned the Zulu military into a quite terrifying force. And at the end, he was ultimately assassinated by his 2 half-brothers. Now, this is super interesting already. Now I think as we'll get more clear as we go through each of these 6 versions,
One Piece is full of mythology,
based on their inspiration, each of them might be responsible for
full of
different
history as well.
credited to Vegapunk. And I do think that number 1 seems to be a prime candidate for the one who created the Pacifista and the Seraphim. I mean, he is number 1, and the fact that he has the kanji for justice also puts him quite close to the Marines and the government.
Like, because of Marines have the power to enforce justice, they represent justice.
Hint at a conflict between the different versions of Vegapunk. Like, just imagine how cool that would be. Some siding with the Straw Hats and some siding with the government. Heck, maybe there's just one Vegapunk among the existing 6 who is actually in cahoots with the revolutionaries. See, that's why I say that this arc has the potential to be something else entirely. Okay, so then we have number 2, the evil Lilith. The version of Vegapunk we have seen the most of so far, and who does come across a bit evil in the interactions she's had so far. Now, Lilith is the only Vegapunk I think not based on a real person, as far as I can tell, but on the legend of Lilith, a female figure in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology who's said to be the first wife of Adam before Eve, and becoming the first primordial demon after being banished from the Garden of Eden for not obeying Adam. Again, absolutely love the characters that Oda chose here. They are all super fascinating.
Lilith. So Lilith is the first demon.
Archetype is basically the one who created anything monster related, like the dragons or the army of sea kings that
So those are the sea dragon, android sea dragons.
Number 3, the Thought
Flare.
Now, this one you probably figured out yourself. This Vegapunk surely must be based on Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison.
An inventor who developed a ton of devices in fields such as electric power generation, mass communication, sound recording, and motion pictures. In other words, his inventions, which include the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and early versions of the electric light bulb, have had a widespread impact on the entire modern industrialized world.
Thomas Edison is the guy that stole the idea from what's the name? What's the name of the guy? Tesla. From Tesla. It's him, or I'm mixing up history. Pythagoras. Pythagoras is like a theorem to calculate the area of a triangle.
Very wrong, because Pythagoras is actually most famous for his metempsychosis, or the transmigration of souls. I thought I might pay attention with that. Now, Pythagoras thought that every soul is immortal and upon death enters into a new body, just like the devil fruits. Plus, he did a bunch of astronomy, like proving that...
Okay, I didn't know that. I know that Pythagoras was all about maths.
Morning and evening stars being the planet Venus. Oh yeah, and he was also the first one to divide the globe into 5 different climatic zones. Now, there is a bunch of stuff in there that we can relate to Dr. Vegapunk's research, as you probably noticed. Anything climate related, like the Climate Act and the Weather Eggs. There might be some space science...
Imagine every version of Vegapunk has got some answers about some subject, like Pythagoras, climate, Lilith, devil fruit knowledge, logic, I don't know. A really good theory, friends. Amazing.
Think about it, that was clearly wrong, because Atlas was one of the Titans that fought a great war against the Greek gods. And when the Titans were defeated by the gods, many of them were banished to Tartarus, but Zeus condemned Atlas to stand at the western edge of the earth and hold up the sky on his shoulders. And I do actually find this a really interesting choice here. I really wonder what Atlas's role might be in the context of Vegapunk. My best guess
Megatron.
is that since she's a Titan and pretty big herself, she might be the one who is responsible for the research into gigantification and the ancient giants that we've seen. You know, like for example the numbers. And then we have number 6, Desire York. Now, this one, I'm really not quite sure who Oda's trying to base them on. My best guess would be York, the American explorer, who was the only black member of the Lewis and Clark expedition. Not really sure what his field of research then might be.
Oh, I thought he said Dora the Explorer. I said, what the fuck?
Maybe? I mean, if
He
Oda
said Dork the Explorer.
Number 6 Vegapunk might look very much like a Seraphim and King, like a Lunarian, given that the historical York was also black. You know, similar to how number 5 Atlas, who is based on a Titan, is huge, or how Lilith, based on a woman, is a woman. Really unsure with this one, but that's my best guess so far. But we're not done yet, because we saved dessert for last. Because CP0 has just joined the chat. And fun fact,
Lucy.
4 arcs in a row now, with the only exception.
What's the awakening of Azoan fruit?
Wano and now Egghead. That's some really bad luck they have running into the Straw Hats every single
Because
time.
if he's a CP0 means he's stronger, but how strong can you get? How strong can you be?
And Lucci, I mean, I really love you, Oda, for doing this. I'm really excited that it feels like this arc is kind of going to be the opposite to Wano, a small island with only a handful of characters, but boy, the stakes are just as high. The government coming with some of their strongest fighters, the Straw Hats, Bonnie being the princess, and Vegapunk and their clones, kind of torn between the government that has betrayed them and the future.
Yeah, this arc is full of question mark. It's all question mark. You don't know what is going to happen. One, we know what was the final goal, was to Luffy fighting Kaido. This one, we don't know. The Void End. So, that was chapter 1062. It's going to be crazy. I hope that we get at least 4 or 5 chapters without break, because we had a break last week. Really good. Sun God Imu. Who knows what powers got Imu? Who knows what Vegapunk is going to do? Is he going to join the Straw Hats? What is he going to do? We're going to find out soon. Really soon. Hopefully. Every chapter is going to be crazy. There is so much going on. Especially after the first chapter, after the break was Blackbeard almost killing Boa Hancock. And then we saw the Lunarians. Then Rayleigh was crazy. Kobe getting abducted by someone. Then Sabo getting, I think he's alive, but the island destroyed, and we see for the first time one of the other ancient weapon. Who knows? Full of surprises, full of everything. This is One Piece, chapter 1062. I'll see you later, guys.